Hello, welcome to Lust with Must. Tonight we are just hanging out once again, having a couple drinks, just enjoying our evening. Cheers. So what do you want to talk about today, Shan? Anything on your mind?
Fingers.
Like what kind of fingers?
You know, like the kind of fingers that kind of stinky fingers.
Oh yeah.
And
Do you have
really
any
good fingers.
Do you have any stories about having really stinky fingers?
No, but I know that you do.
You've never put your fingers in a really stinky anything and come back and they've smelled bad for a long point of time?
Well, I mean, no, just my fingers, but.
Anyways, actually, so you have no stories?
No, I'll let you do your story.
Well, anyways, I have a few stories, but the one I'm going to tell tonight is actually after my divorce. I was dating a guy, and we had been on and off for about 3 years. It was actually kind of when I was going through my divorce, but we were on and off. But so when I met him, he was like, "Oh, I can make you squirt." And I was like, "No, you can't." And he was like, "Oh, yes, I can." Well, sure as shit. He had some magical fingers. So we named his fingers the JFs, which were Jesus fingers, because they were magical. He could just put them... Anyways, for a long time, he carried the title of the JFs, and that was just something that we talked about because he literally did have this gift to be able to make women squirt. It was something that he had just practiced for a long time. He just knew what it was. He knew where to touch. He knew what to do. You know, it didn't take much, and then, women are blowing everywhere. So of course, I loved having sex with him because he had Jesus fingers.
That's a magical ability.
Exactly. I mean, it was magical. And at that time, just getting out of a marriage where I've had sex with the same person for 15 years, finding Jesus fingers was like,
hey.
I felt like the universe was giving me a gift.
A reward. It's a reward.
Exactly. I was able to learn about my body and things that I didn't even know my body could do. I've squirted in the past, but it's been by accident. Nobody knew exactly what happened. But then when this gentleman came along, he literally was like, "No, this is what you do. It's a did." He was all about it. So let me tell you.
He knew the science of the mechanics.
He knew the science of the fingering to make a woman squirt. He knew where the gland was. He knew where to push it. He knew what he was doing. So he gained the title of Jesus Fingers. Okay, so.
What a legend.
Exactly. Well, let's fast forward, all right? So I'm all about him because, he's made me do things that I haven't been able to do my entire life, and I'm 44 years old. I'm not even kidding. I've had 2 husbands. Neither one of them could do that. And, it makes a difference, So I was like, holy crap. This guy is so I fell for him.
The Lord touched his fingers.
Well, I fell for him not because of his personality, but because of the things that he showed me that my body could do. But then you fast forward, okay? And then somehow, it went from him showing me how to do this to buying all these toys and taking me to sex shops. I have real bad anxiety in sex shops. So it's I don't like going to sex shops. It's not that I have anything against toys, but I'd rather order them on Amazon because I don't want anyone to know.
Which is kind of crazy because you don't seem to have that kind of personality.
Yeah, you would think.
But hey, man, yeah, it's kind of oddball-ish in there.
Well, he used to take me to all these weird sex shops, and we would buy all these toys. Well, it went from buying dildos or whatever, vibrators, to buying booty hole toys. for him, not for me. So, so we used to get like really kinky. We did because we've been, doing it for like 3 years, 2 years or whatever. I don't know. And then, so we would play around, so it was like, okay, so I wanted to give him a great orgasm because, he was giving me such a great orgasm. He was showing me something that I had never experienced in my life before. And so I wanted to give him a prostate massage, something that he had never experienced before, because I wanted him to feel, because I'm an empath and I'm also a giver.
So generous.
It's so generous. I wanted him to feel what I was feeling. So I had been, Googling or whatever, or, on the porn sites and trying to figure out exactly how to do a prostate massage. And so I did it, and anyways, my fingers are too short for his butt. It was just like it was just really hard. Just hard. So, anyways, my fingers were too short to really like get up in there. So we had to go to the sex store and buy some stuff.
Some stuff.
And I hate the sex store.
Do they have like an extra long finger?
No, but they have this thing that you stick up there. It's like long. It's like a prostate thing. And anyways,
Whoa,
so not only did we have to go to the sex store, but he had to like
far out.
He had to make like an announcement to like ask like what was the best thing for a prostate massage, because he wanted to embarrass me as much as possible, which is totally fine because I love embarrassing people.
Yeah, I mean you gotta give and take,
So anyway, so I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna start giving you the, the gift that you've been giving me. I want to give you a different type of orgasm because that's something that I had never felt before. And so we bought all these toys, and it went from maybe like a vibrator, like a little thing, to a strap-on.
Holy! Now you're in the big leagues. We call that the majors.
So anyways, I ordered a strap-on with a purple dildo, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna surprise him. And he was actually very excited. So we started doing those like butthole games or whatever. We were doing that.
Man, it's like kind of like college graduation.
Do you do butthole games?
I have never butthole gamed.
You never butthole gamed?
No.
Either way. Some men like the butthole games.
Well, it's not that I didn't like it. It's just that it was just one time in the 80s, and I was too like repressed or whatever, and my girlfriend tried to boom boom, and never mind. Let's get on to JF to.
Oh, sorry. I love this song.
Doo-doo fingers.
R.I.P. Jill Sobule. So sad. Isn't that so sad?
She looks like that one.
Kissed a girl.
All
right, so anyways, we started getting into these butthole games, and it started getting like, I don't know, it started getting less about me and more about him, and all of a sudden, like, I'm having to do like this and then this and this, and I mean, it was just a whole lot. I felt like I was like, can you do this?
Pat yourself on
yeah, can you do that? Anyways, it was a whole lot of like doing a whole lot at one time.
One-man band?
Yeah, it was like a one-man band. I felt like that. So, we dated off and on, and then like we were cool, and he would come over for dinner and everything, and then like one night he came over. He had gone to a ski trip. He had gone on a ski trip for the weekend, and he had come over to play with me. Well, that's what I thought. But anyways, he came actually over for me to play with him. But that's okay. So he comes over, and we have good sex. He makes me squirt. But I actually now that I know how to squirt myself, I don't actually need him. I just need him to wake up my vagina, because she had been in dormant for all my marriages.
Well, I mean,
Has that ever happened? Has your penis ever gone in dormant?
It's definitely gone dormant. In a couple of my marriages.
Sometimes it does go dormant.
A couple of them. One of them was good, but like the other one, no. And the other one, no. Definitely the last one, no. All right.
So, anyways, he comes over, and we're doing it in the bedroom, whatever. And then he, it's like he couldn't like nut or whatever. And then I was like, all right, that's cool. And then he's like, now it's time for you to F me. I was like, oh.
Whoa.
I was like, great. I literally just did like a this and a this and and all this other stuff because he was having some erectile dysfunction at that time.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need some of that honey.
He started taking Cialis.
And then still no?
It was just awkward. It just started becoming a whole lot of like work. It's not, don't get me wrong.
To get to the
I love to give, but I don't like to work. There's a big difference between giving and working. Okay, because I don't like to work at all. I literally never like to work in my life, in my daytime. So if sex becomes something like a job, honey, there's something wrong. So anyways, that night he came over after the ski trip, right? After he did his thing with me, and I tried to get him to nut, and it didn't work. And so he's like, okay, now it's time for you to fuck me, blah, blah, blah. So
wiki wow.
So we get into the shower. And, so I'm there, and I'm sucking him or whatever. And then, of course, I start to, like, go in with my 2 fingers to massage his prostate. And then he has his leg up so that I could, like, try to, like, move his butt cheek so that I could try to, like, get my fingers up there better. And I actually did. But at the same time, I made him, like, feel like he had a shit really bad because he had been on a ski trip. Probably with another woman. I have no idea. But that was the kind of man he was or is. So he hadn't shit the whole weekend. So I got my fingers up there, and he's like, oh my God, I feel like I'm gonna like explode. So we turn off the shower, even though I have like doo-doo fingers, because he literally like shit all over my fingers while they were up there. But no problem, right? Because we've been dating for on and off for 3 years.
Yeah, I chihuahua though.
Yeah, we play butthole games all the time.
Yeah, you guys were past.
Yeah, I wasn't new to doo-doo on my fingers.
Yeah, past the farting in front of each other.
Yeah, we were super close.
We were close. Very close.
Very close.
Doo-doo finger close.
So
That's pretty lovely.
So anyways, after that we come out and I'm like, he's like, oh man, wow, you like really, I was really stopped up and you really got it all out of me. And I was like, well, hey, at least you feel better. Because, he had gotten out of the shower and then he sat in the toilet and all of that shit that had been in his stomach for the entire weekend because he was with another woman and he didn't want to shit in front of her or whatever. So anyways, so he like dumped it out in my toilet. So we, I said goodbye, kissed him goodbye, and I said, call me tomorrow. Well, he did. He called me the next day, and I said, hey, do you want to come over for dinner? I'm making, I can't remember what else I'm making. And he goes, I'll call you back and let you know. Guess what? He ghosted me. I never talked to him again. He literally ghosted me after 3 years.
Whoa.
Yeah. But it wasn't because of like the doo-doo fingers. It was just because, I don't know what it was. Yeah. So he went from the Jesus fingers to the doo-doo fingers.
JFs to DFs.
The JS to the DFs. Anyways, so all that great sex that we had for all those years, few years that the only thing that I can remember is
the shitty finger.
And if you've ever had poop on your fingers, it doesn't come off with like one soap. Like you got a soap and you got a soap and you got a soap.
Toothpaste?
Yeah, you gotta use toothpaste. I mean, so he left me with this.
It's like a skunk.
He left me with these doo-doo fingers, and it was like, wow, you know what? Thanks. You literally left shit in my hand, and then you ghosted me. Anyways, what an idiot. But that's that story. Has anyone ever ghosted you ever? It really hurts sometimes. Being ghosted sucks, though.
Yeah, like not in such a bad way. So it's not even any like comparison. It's just
I really feel like the universe was like, hey, this guy just shit in your hand. It's probably time to let him go. So they ghosted him for me. Anyways, thank you for coming to Less with Must and listening to my crazy stories. And I will see you next time.